nobody, would you have to
Yeah.
redo the class?
As long as it is before 10:15.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I don't know if you can see my screen yet. So yesterday we did lesson 103, 104, and 105. And today we are going to do lesson 106 and 107. So we continue with customer experience and looking at the requirements for an app and a website. But before I proceed on today's business, I'd like you guys to give me a recap on what we did yesterday. So can someone provide us an overview of what we discussed yesterday?
The first thing that jumps to mind is personalization. So,
Okay.
because the reason I remember is because I remember you asking us the question whether we allow.
What about personalization?
So how do I start this?
You're right. We spoke about personalization yesterday. But personalization is big, so I want to hear you. What is it about it?
Just like what, personalizing the customer's experience, looking at certain variables. So it's like, so you look at like where they've clicked on a website, or you look at the type of products that they buy, and so you kind of show that a little bit more to them. So basically that's just looking at like their transactions overall, so that gives you like an idea of how to personalize. Yeah, stuff like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, you are making sense, though at the beginning you just sounded like a car running out of fuel. So yes, personalization, we look at individual customer behavior. What is it that they do when they come to the website? How many times do they visit the website per day? Because the website can actually says, I don't know if you guys have searched something on Google on the results. Have you ever seen when it says you visited this page on 20 December, blah, blah, blah? Have you seen that?
Yes, and I wish that thing was bigger.
Pardon?
I'm saying yes, and I wish that thing was bigger.
Yes. So even on websites, they can be able to check how many times you've visited the website, at what time of the day, because the way people spend time online differs. Some would be on specific websites in the morning. Some would be on specific websites in the evening, or some even during different time of the season in winter and stuff like that. So you have got algorithms, analytics building on that website to see how you interact with the website as an individual. And remember, there are many individuals coming to your website. Sometimes it can even be hundreds of thousands of people. And these algorithms operate at a scale, Imagine being able to build a trend on each and every individual profile, and you've got million people coming to that website. So that's how intelligent these algorithms are. You can also be able to have order history. I'm sure on platforms like Takealot, you can actually see something that you ordered 3 years ago, for example. So based on all the information that you have in terms of historical sites visit, in terms of order history, in terms of the device that someone is using, because sometimes you can even tell whether this person is using a Microsoft Windows or this person is using, an app, MacBook and stuff like that. You can actually build a profile of your segment and personalize the content, personalize the products, personalize the engagement. Sometimes algorithms can get it wrong. For example, I think now they've stopped. Maybe they've realized that I'm not the potential target audience. A couple of months ago, but this year, on my feeds, especially on Facebook, I used to receive like sponsored uh content and adverts for Mercedes-Benz, for Porsche, all these luxury brands. And I don't know, maybe they felt like I can afford them. And I didn't do anything to stop them. They just kept coming. You see this AMG model going for 3 million and stuff like that. Like, I'm like, wow, what is it doing on my profile? So I don't know what is it that was used to target me as an individual to personalize those kind of adverts to my Facebook feed, but all of a sudden it disappeared. I no longer see it anymore.
Maybe you were talking about it.
Pardon?
Saying maybe you spoke about it at one point because I know Facebook listens to you.
Yeah, so stuff like that. Sometimes the predictions can go wrong, but these algorithms are intelligent to an extent to see that if there's no engagement from your side, they can actually stop and look for other ways of engaging with you. So we are surrounded with so many machines out there who are mapping our behavior, who are mapping, our whereabouts. Imagine all of a sudden you are receiving a timeline from Google saying how many places you visited this month. Somehow Google is tracking you because they've got your location on and your data on your device. So as much as we can feel like we are being stalked, they are also getting many insights for us so that they can personalize the engagement with us. I don't know if I'm making any sense. And if you can't hear me anymore, guys, and I can't realize that, Kia, please inbox me and tell me that, say, I think we have lost you. Because sometimes I'll be, talking and talking and talking, not knowing that people can hear me or they cannot hear me. So please do that if you don't mind.
I'll do that, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we are going to continue with the requirements for an app or a site. And now we are going to talk about localization. We discussed this concept of localization when we were looking at suppliers, if I remember very well. And I also gave you guys a concept of localization and globalization, because localization is the opposite of globalization. What was the concept? What was the name of the concept? These people are brain dead in the morning. I need to resuscitate your brains, guys. It seems you are dead. The concept was glocalization. Do you remember me mentioning this word? Glocalization? Or
Yes,
maybe
Chairman.
by that time you were not in class.
I mean, I know the term. I don't know if you.
I
Okay.
remember, sir, you did.
Okay. All right. So remember, this series that we are looking at, it's delivering effective customer experience. And yesterday we discussed that customer experience is how brands engage with their customers throughout the buying journey. So, engagement requires mutual understanding in order to have that effective experience. So, you cannot talk about mutual understanding if there's no sense of belonging. And in order to have sense of belonging, you need to connect with people at emotional level. And one way to connect with people at emotional level is through the use of language. The moment you speak language that people understand, they'll have a deeper connection with you. And here, when you talk about language, yes, it is okay that you are considering that someone is speaking Zulu and you are also speaking Zulu. That's fine. You are considering that someone is speaking Pedi and you are also speaking Pedi. So you can understand each other from a linguistic point of view. However, language also goes deeper than understanding the words and sentences and vocabulary. You can speak the same language, yet you cannot connect with each other at the intimate level. I always hear people saying that, you know, this person does not understand my language. Like I left him, I left her because she did not understand my love language, you know. So what I'm trying to say here that other than the language being Zulu, someone needs to understand your taste, you know, needs to understand your flavor, you know, the key terms that you'd use, your slang, whatever terminology that is trending in your in your heart. So you don't have to have a language in Zulu because your key audience is Zulu speaking people. You also need to speak to their heart, you know, so that it does not become a sound of words, you know, being said out there, or a sound of punctuations being said out there, yet you are not connecting with customers at emotional level. Otherwise, the customer experience is going to be affected. I don't know if I'm making any sense, guys. For example, you can be both speaking English at the moment, but still not understanding each other. Like, yo, this say does not speak my language, you know. The terms that he uses, yes, it's English, but I do not connect with him based on what he's saying. So you need to tailor the website information for individual countries, individual locations, know the different language needs, know the language differences, and also know the language similarities, especially in a country like South Africa, where you can have different vocabularies, different words that mean same thing in across languages, you know, or new terminologies that are emerging, you know, as a result of language blending. Think of ETA. You know, when you come across someone who'll be like ETA, Ola. What language is that?
Tsotsitaal.
Kasi.
So it's not Pedi, it's not Zulu, it's not this, you know. But at the end of the day, it's a language that is being spoken by people within a location. People saying Danko, Danko in Zulu, Danko in this, you know. What language is that? So you need to understand language similarities as well. You need to know cultural differences and cultural similarities. Because remember, at the beginning of the lesson yesterday, we say that you need to ask yourself who the key audience is. So if the key audience speak this kind of language, where they can blend languages, then you know the way you communicate and engage with your customers, you need to also consider these languages. Many brands have tried that. When we look at languages, you've got McDonald's, which is a multinational organization. It's all over the world. I know that their websites are localized, So the McDonald's website that is in America, it can't be the same with the McDonald's site that is in South Africa. So they localize it, or maybe the McDonald's which is in China, or the one that is in Kenya. You realize maybe the one in China has even the Chinese language on it, However, you can either have a standardized website. So this one is not localized, it's universal. So you just have a universal language there, be it English, German, Spanish, and on the website you can have a function enabling people to choose a language that they want to understand. Have you come across that, guys, on websites where you
Yes,
can
sir.
choose international languages like German, Spanish, and stuff like that? So it's a standardized website. You can have a semi-localized website. Shein has got a yes, it has got a semi-localized website. So if you go to Shein, we have got Shein, the main website, but it has got it is tailored according to countries. So there's Shein in France, which is going to show French currency, for example. Then you've got Shein in South Africa, which is going to show rands, stuff like that. So it will be semi-localized. Then you've got localized websites that are like Puma, for example, Nike, You've got Nike South Africa, you've got Nike USA, you've got Nike UK. They might even be selling localized products. Like this product you can only find in America, and this product you can only find in South Africa. Then we can have highly localized websites, and we can have culturally customized websites. I haven't come across a fully culturally customized website. However, I've realized that many brands, they culturally customize their websites during specific seasons or occasions. For example, if it's during Easter, all of a sudden Woolies, the theme on the Woolies website is Easter specific, Easter eggs, the colors and stuff like that. Or when it's Heritage Month in September next month, all of a sudden you've got a BMW website that has got Ndebele patterns, those paintings like from that old lady. Her name is Esther Mahlangu, if I remember very well. So they just want to recognize the cultural heritage of specific locations. So the website is not permanently culturally customized, but it is customized on different occasions when it's a culture day or something like that. Have you come across that as customers? Or you barely go to websites?
Haven't seen that on websites, no. Oh, only on Google.
Okay, I've come across it on websites, even those that embrace LGBTQ, whereby you see the website is now full of rainbow colors, representing LGBTQ. Also, since nowadays, there's much hype about diversity and inclusion, you also need your website to be accommodating. So even if it is tailored to specific people, for example, you have identified your key audience as African speaking people, hence your website is completely in Afrikaans. But you also need to embrace those who would like to engage with your website even though they cannot speak Afrikaans. So you then need to have translation techniques. Some websites are locked, they cannot use Google Translate, Whereas others, even if there's a language that you cannot understand there, you can simply use translation tools like Google Translate. All of a sudden, the website was in Germany and it is now in English. Have you come across that, guys?
Yes, sir.
Mm. So you can have what is called transcreation. You translate as you create content. You can have professional translation, machine translation, post editing, and adaptive machine translation. But you need to be very careful with machine translation, especially when you are using algorithms like Google Translate, because sometimes meanings can be lost depending on the context. You know, the way it is said in that language can actually provide better meaning than the way it has been translated in English. I'll give you guys, the usual translation that we have heard from people, direct translation. Ukubopha izicathulo. You know what I mean, right?
Yes, sir.
Karabo, I know you are Tswana from Northwest.
I'm also Tara
Um,
from Northwest.
we are from the
Really?
same place. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Yo, Kia is more Zulu aligned, I think.
So I
Or it's
grew up in
because she lives with the
Soweto.
No.
Zulus. Pardon?
I grew up in Soweto, sir.
Oh, I see.
But I grew up
Karabo,
in.
when someone says that Ngibopa is Katulo, do you understand what they are saying?
I would say I'm not that one. I've been in Germany since 2008.
Okay, I get that. You know, but when you are using direct translation, Google Translate can say arresting shoes, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Is it wrong? It's not wrong. Ukubopa is to arrest. Isn't it so?
It is.
But the context is completely lost. How can you arrest shoes? So a professional translator will then say, no, it's tearing shoelaces. But machine translation sometimes can get it wrong, especially when there are terms that mean multiple, that have got multiple meanings depending on the context, especially in Zulu. You've got terms like la la la, la le la la, so much la 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 la, even Kosa. So you need to be very careful when it comes to translation. So how do you then review competitors' website? Because you cannot operate in silo. Yes, when it comes to websites, you also need to do a competitor analysis and see the kind of the websites, the design, the themes that your competitors are using, whether it delivers better customer experience or not. Because if you don't have a look at what your competitors are doing, customers are going to run to your competitors and get a better customer experience there. As I've been emphasizing, this is all about customer experience. So there is a benchmarking criteria on page 313. I advise you to go and have a look. Benchmarking is important in positioning a website to compete effectively with competitors. So, for example, if your competitor has got an e-commerce function and you don't, are you not losing sales as a result? I've heard that on several occasions. Banks do snoop on each other, especially when it comes to mobile banking and its functions. So you see that Netbank is busy looking at how the standard banking app works, or FNB is busy looking at how Capitec works, because at the end of the day, you want to be better, you want to do better. So that's the nature of competition. Remember, we spoke about 5 entry levels to competition, bargaining power, and something like that. So realize that if you do not know what your competitors are doing, sometimes you can always be behind thinking that you are ahead. That's the healthy nature of competition, as long as there are no dirty tactics in that competition. So you need to have a look at the benchmarking criteria on page 313. Are there any questions, guys?
Not so far, sir.
When these banks like check out the competitors, is it only like front end, or is getting back end information illegal?
So normally, when I'm talking about the health competition, it will be front end. You go to, because the front end is public. Anyone can access that. The CEO for Nedbank can access the front end for Standard Bank because it is in the public domain. Then your IT guys need to know what was done in order for it to appear like that without going to the back end of Standard Bank. They need to know, once you see the layout on the site, you can, okay, I think on our back end, we need to do XYZ to do better than them. The moment it becomes, hacking without their permission, like gaining access to the backend without their permission, then that's illegal. That's why you see big brands taking each other to court on several occasions that you stole our patent, there was illegal access to information, or you even pay an employee to give you login details. Then all of a sudden you can access. That's illegal, Karabo, as long as the brand has not authorized access to a competitor that this is what we are doing, of which I don't think the brand is in its normal sense. Coca-Cola can give Peps access to their backend of the website to see how they are doing things. So if Peps have got access, in most cases it will be illegal. It has to be front end only. Any questions, guys?
All clear, sir.
Okay. Now we move on to lesson 107, the last lesson for the week.